Hi, you guys. I want to talk to you about Lilith in a man's chart. This video is going to be on Nick Cannon, who has Lilith in Libra. Now, Nick Cannon is born with 4 planets in Libra. Cannon has been going viral over an interview, right? That has to do with marriage, multiple partners. He has a Lilith in Libra. Currently, as we are recording this, Lilith is transiting Libra, which means that Lilith already went over Nick Cannon's Saturn and is approaching his sun, and eventually he will have a Lilith return coming up. So this is Lilith in the man's chart. She is the energy that is provocative to him. She will either be the woman, the energy that makes him forsake everything for her to have her. That could be one energy. Or like the typical story goes with Lilith, she is very much so rejected by him and provokes him because of this rejection. So Lilith is the dark feminine chaos. And seeing Nick Cannon in this interview was very cringy. Personally, the person, Dr. Brian, was also a little cringy. I think mainly because they were talking over each other. But I have a feeling that this is a lot of Lilith energy. So Lilith can show how a man cheats. This is somebody who may already be in a partnership. They might be very much so taken. And Lilith in Libra likes that. It's very much so a seductive temptress or tempter. Mind you, there's a moment where Nick Cannon talks about this, where he talks about, I'm not sure if he's talking about himself or other men, but he says like men can put on a representation of themselves and then you get the real version of that. So this is Lilith and Libra speaking. Libra represents marriage. Marriage is something that is like a skyscraper to a human. It's something that requires the person to have to elevate beyond just their fickleness and their human nature in a lot of ways. This is not just because every human can cheat, but because we all have doubts and we have fears which lead people to cheating. And Lilith in Libra basically is the thing that's trying to bring the skyscraper down, that's trying to bring the elevation of human soul, trying to find its counterpart and say you are not beyond your natural primal self. That's Lilith in Libra. In a previous life, people who have Lilith in Libra could have definitely been more selfish and in higher standards. They may have wanted status and they did anything or whatever selfish things they could do to get it. So Lilith in Libra is not just banished to this energy. You can elevate through Libra, and the highest state of Lilith in Libra is somebody who recognizes traitors, who recognizes things that are unjust. Okay? So Lilith in Libra at her highest state really values the law. It values marriage based out of its law, based out of the laws that come with it. And this is somebody in the highest state who wants marriage for everyone, who wants everyone to be married. Because there's this level of everyone should be allowed to be treated equally to have marriage. Okay? So when we bring this back to Nick Cannon, right? Let's jump back into Nick Cannon. One of the things that I think is happening with Nick Cannon is that he is being tested by Lilith in Libra. more personally than others because he has 4 planets here and it's his Lilith return. I think that he is being triggered by the concept of counsel. And I actually saw somebody post this. It was actually a quote from Princella, who said that men should not be shouldn't be counseled by women. Women do not need to be counseling men. Trying to shame men is not going to work. I think that the quote that this person came from, that the person that this quote came from, is a very radical influencer. This is somebody who is definitely out to help showcase the predatorial nature, but it also has a lot of extremes. So like, this person believes that men are incapable of love. This person also seems to bait a lot of people into these men who hate women or women who hate women type of scenarios. Okay, I'm gonna leave something for you guys when it comes to this, and you guys are gonna get it. This is a special gift that I will leave at the end. But let's get back into Nick Cannon. Okay, so I think that what's provoking Nick is Libra is connected to the courtrooms, to lawyers, okay, and counsel, like lawyer counsels, okay. So this Dr. Bryant isn't that, but represents that, because she is counseling him in a lot of ways. And this is a provocative role that she is playing with Nick, and it does test the masculinity. And the reason that it does is because people can try to shame you. Whether Dr. Bryant was trying to shame Nick or not, I cannot tell, but was confronting him and making certain accusations towards his role as a person who is a father of multiple kids from multiple homes, okay? This also is a big part of being a Lilith and Libra, that you may have these accusations towards you. And it's a part of the karma because you're here to overcome it, okay? So as Dr. Bryant provokes him, right, through her statements, she creates this level of counsel, as if she is setting herself up to be credible, to inform him of his unjustly ways, okay? And the reason that this statement that women do not need to counsel men seems to ring true is because it allows us to not have the power within ourselves to handle accusations. Okay, so a big part of Nick Cannon's journey and growth is to overcome accusations, but not by just blatantly denying it, but by bringing his actual truth, as you would in a courtroom. And this is where I do think that he kind of folded. I think that he kind of became a victim to Lilith in this situation, because he was not able. It was like there's a deafness in the room from both of them. And he wasn't able to stand up for himself, not in a way where he aggresses towards Dr. Bryant or even accuses her of things, but to be able to stand in your truth and be able to speak your truth and represent is the word I'm looking for. Represent yourself in the court of law that Lilith and Libra was testing him on. And I think that it was difficult for him. Lilith is going over his Saturn, so Saturn is heavy energy. And I think that this was one of his more crippling moments. I felt like he was squirming. I felt like he was uncomfortable. So people like Queenmaker would say, you know, well, it wasn't this woman's place to try to counsel him. And that's just not true. As a human being, you have the power to handle any sort of situation. As a female or male, you have the power to handle people who accuse you in a way that is fair, that is justice, and does not have to be aggressive. But if you don't have those skills, or if you have leaned into the darker parts of your Lilith in Libra, which is being more promiscuous or things like that, or hiding from accusations, then it's hard for you to stand up and represent yourself. You need someone else to do it for you. And that is what is happening with Nick Cannon. He needed somebody else to represent him because he did not strengthen this part of him. So Lilith can definitely cripple a man. It could show how he will fold under pressure. I won't say that Nick Cannon looked like he was crippled, but I do feel like he was squirmy. I felt like he couldn't really handle the fire that he was in. And this is something that I believe he has the capability of doing, because Dr. Bryant was coming for him, and she did eat him up mainly because he could not represent himself. This could have been a conversation that created a revelation in people to discover equality of marriage and relationships in brand new and exciting ways. But because both parties were kind of deaf, this became less of that. And that's okay. We are all here to grow from our experiences. And so I wanted to leave something for you guys. But before I do it, I want to say that men who have Lilith and Libra in their weakest points, right, they will kind of fall in the court of law. They will try to overcompensate as well. So you'll see this. You'll see somebody who will be an overly people pleaser, who will try to go above and beyond and really target one person to do this. Lilith and Libra can create a situation where he is incapable of really standing up for himself, or being accusatory too. So like an eye for an eye. These types of things can also happen here because it's immature to its power in a lot of ways. And so sometimes Lilith in a man's chart can have him over aggress, right? Over pursue, which would create that people pleasing masked self that Nick Cannon actually described of himself. So a lot of people say in the comments, all men do this. And as an astrologer, I would say no, because if you meet a lot of Aries men, the opposite energy, Lilith and Aries, it would be different. Okay, so Lilith and Libra men definitely, and other Lilith placements, could have more of this masked self in order to overcompensate, to pursue. The other thing is that they are easily repelled, right? And they'll be easily repelled by somebody, feminine nature more than likely, who is trying to advise them and counsel them. So this is something that can be overcome. Lilith actually helps to strengthen a man when he is able to recognize these weaker parts. Remember that Lilith is connected to the moon, so it does have to do with certain blind spots missing from his nurturing and care, whether they came from the mother, or it could have also come from the father, to be honest, because it could be parenthood. But a lot of us carry this energy in from karmic past lives, and so the parents either help you to overcome your darkness early, or they actually do nothing and you have to do it later on in life. Okay, this is not to blame parents at all. But I want to show you guys this thing that I wrote that I think is really powerful for a Lilith and Libra transit, because you'll see that there are so many wars going on, and here's what I say. It's easy to say all men are predators and all women are gold diggers, because that's what they say. So let's not fall for the easy hate bait that keeps us in the cycle of complaining. Because as much as people want to expose these bad men and people want to expose these bad modern women, all it shows is that they are, in fact, intimidated by them. This is what intimidation looks like. Okay? Yes, they are intimidated by the lowlives that they complain about on the internet. Why would you spend so much time focused on somebody and something that you don't like unless you were intimidated? People are so scared to fall for these low lives that they talk about on the internet. So they try to listen to every bad advisor that they could find. Okay? So fear versus love is all that there really is. You are either on the side of fear or love. During this time of Lilith and Libra, you have to watch out for your advisors, for your counsel. You have to see who are the traitors. A good advisor and a good counselor may not be perfect in their position. They may not be a full example of a, ideal person. But the thing that makes them a good counsel is because their heart is in it. Is because they have no fear. They just have love. And somebody who is a traitor that you would find in a Lilith and Libra transit, who is counseling you, is based out of manipulation, based out of fear, based out of anger, based out of fear. So the truth is that fear versus love is all that there is. And the statement that I've made, a very controversial one, is that most people do not want to love. They want to remain scared. So just admit that you want to remain in your fear. Because if you truly wanted to find love, you would have the courage to break past all of the threats and the red flags. You would have the self-esteem and self-value to not have to have a list of standards, but be able to cultivate discernment with your heart. You would be able to know truly and authentically who someone is because you would feel them. You wouldn't be wrapped up in the superficial things that you think make a good relationship. Don't get lost in the paperwork of marriage during this Lilith and Libra transit. Because the truth is that real love is still the most core important thing that keeps relationships together. Remember, it's just fear versus love. I'll see you guys in the next video.